So you want to know how to prepare for squats. Well, today we're going to uncover the 3 essential areas of your body. What's going on?
Turn it on. Oh.
Sorry, technical issues, guys.
Technical issues. Oh, it's here, mate. It's
Oh,
here.
Yanni forgot to turn his microphone on. I'll introduce it for you. So what we're doing today, we're going to be going over what you need to do to prepare to squat. We're going to go over the 3 critical areas that are going to impact your squat. We're going to talk about the mobility, our 3 favorite mobility drills that you're going to do for a squat. And we're also going to teach you the 3 best strengthening exercises to prepare you for a squat. All that and more coming up.
Awesome. We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image. We're back, and I'm pretty sure my mic is working now. All right, yeah, so the most important areas of squatting, this is continuing on the discussion that we had yesterday. There are the 3 key areas that are based on your anatomy, and we spoke about this yesterday. The length of your femur and tibia in relation to your spine, the pitch of the acetabular socket in your pelvis, and your ability to dorsiflex the ankle. Plantar flex, dorsiflex. I don't know if you can actually see that, plantar, dorsi there. Now, once we have explored those 3 key anatomical structures in your body, and we know how to position the feet, and we know how to position the knees, we now have the basic fundamentals of the squat covered. From here, what we have to do is condition and prepare the body, the joints, the hips, the knees, the ankles, and the core muscles. Most people who haven't squat since childhood will have a compromised body. You will either be tight or you will be weak, or a combination of both that will prevent your optimal squat. So today we are going to take you out on the gym floor, and we're going to show you the quickest bang for your buck strength and mobility hacks that we can teach that will give you a great result pretty much instantaneously. So let's dive out there and crack into it. Richie's setting up the gimbal cam. How are we doing? You got me? Yep. We're working. Mic's working. So Rad's going to be my model. First of all, it's important to understand the key areas. So the ankle is a massive area of compromise, and there is going to be certain people, as we said yesterday, who have a bone structure that prevents that ankle dorsiflexion. Often it's if you're feeling restricted in the ankle there, it's going to be because you've had injury before. Very, very common that we roll our ankles as we're growing up, playing footy, whatever sport you've participated in. And if it's a scar tissue restriction, that's good, because we can break that down quite easily over time with the right sort of mobbing. Now, he's getting into the water. My son's making a mess over there. Now, the first thing we're going to start with is the mobility drills, because these are really, really important. And we're going to get Rad to demonstrate over here. We've got a couple of things set up. We've got a beginner version and an advanced version. So the beginner version, if you're really struggling to get into a squat, you will not be able to attempt the advanced version, so I wouldn't even bother with it. The beginner version, we start with a calf block. You can use anything that can elevate your foot. You can even use a foam roller under there. And Rad's got a 24 kilo kettlebell here, applying a little bit of weight to his knee. Now, if you're really unflexible, this will work well. If you're already intermediate flexibility and we're just trying to increase that, then actually bringing your foot down onto the floor and just allowing that to go forward will work better for you. The calf block is only required if you're really unflexible and you can't get the knee and where the weight's going to be over the toe. The key is that the weight here has to get over the toe, otherwise the stretch won't work, okay? So this is the first one. Now, we usually would hold it for about 15 to 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds max. Swap sides about 4 or 5 times in preparation for your squatting. Let's show them the more advanced variation now. So this is 24 kg on one leg. I've got 50 kilos set up on the barbell here. And Rad's just going to do a basic Romanian deadlift. Then he's going to slide that barbell down onto his quads, sit into a deep squat. And he's going to, again, just like over here, he's going to use the barbell as a stretch to release the calves. The soleus muscle down here, the Achilles tendon, the muscles in the ankle, in the lower part of the calf, really need a lot of weight. They need a lot of pressure to open them up. So this is by far the gold standard in stretching the calves. This works amazingly well if you've already got a decent squat, and the kettlebell on a single leg will work better for any of the beginners who can't quite get down there yet with other restrictions. All right, flip that off. Now let's show them our hamstring release. Just start with some ostrich walks. There's 2 movements that we're going to show you. First a dynamic and then a passive stretch. So Rad's first of all going to do a dynamic, what we call an ostrich walk, and he's putting all the weight down on the front leg. He's stepping through and trying to keep that both legs straight. And what he's doing there is really opening up his hamstrings. Now, most people when they do this will not get as low and as deep as Rad, but that's totally fine. All you want to focus on is getting the weight on the front foot and keeping both legs straight. Don't worry about how deep you can get just yet. Okay, let's show them on the floor what it looks like in a passive stretch. In this one, Rad's going to straighten his spine on the floor. He's going to put his non-active leg flat on the ground, so to keep his pelvis nice and flat on the ground. He's going to use a band or a towel to lever his leg. Now, this is the resting position. He's going to load up for 5, 4, 3, getting a real stretch in here, 2, 1, back to the resting position. He's going to repeat this cycle 5 times on each side of the leg. So active, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. We call this contract relax. There's other names for it, PNF. What does that stand for?
Proprio-neurofacilitator.
Proprio-neurofacilitation stretching, PNF stretching.
This isn't really PNF.
It's not really, no, it's contract relax.
When you're resisting.
Yeah, that's right.
This isn't even contract relax. This is just putting a stretch on and then relaxing.
Relaxing it, all right. Well, it's our passive stretch.
Passive stretch, yeah.
Beautiful. All right. That's fun. He's just doing this to even out. And obviously you'll always do this on both sides. Here's a pro tip. If you've got an imbalance, one side's tighter than the other, always start with the tighter side and finish on the tighter side. So do a 2-to-1 ratio on the tighter side until that imbalance starts to become more even. All right, you ready to move on to glutes? The last area of the squat warm-up stretching we're going to do is glutes. Now, interestingly, people with butt wink, when we squat down and the bum tucks under, we often think that that's just to do with the hamstrings, but it's not. It's actually more to do with the glutes. So we're going to do a passive and an active glute stretch. Just do a active pigeon as the active stretch. Can you do this with your knee? Yeah. Active pigeon, up and down. So Rad's just going nice and easy, trying to keep his hips as level as possible, putting as much weight through the leg as possible. You can see him on his fingertips here. He's trying to use his upper body as little as possible, okay? Pay very, very special attention to how much load you put through this, particularly if you've had knee injuries before with the meniscal cartilage in your knee. Okay, he's going to do both sides. This is an active stretch for the deep glute muscles. And then he's going to do a passive 90-90 stretch for the deep glute muscles as well. So a 90-degree angle in the front knee, 90-degree angle in the back knee, and he's just going to gently rotate over that front knee to stretch out the glute there. This is going to help with the butt wink and open up your stretch. So those are our 3 biggest bang for your buck mobility drills for the squat. Of course, there are heaps of other things that you can do, but we don't have time to go through everything today. Other areas of the body that, if tight, will affect your squat are the hip flexors. If the hip flexors are very tight, they'll tend to pull you forward in the squat, and we've got heaps of drills to release the hip flexors that we can show you another time. All right, let's go into the strengthening stuff now. The key areas of the squat that need to be strong, and again, there are a lot. We could do calves, we could do all sorts of stuff, but the areas that we want to do today are the VMO, so the oblique portion of the vastus medialis. There's a point that actually inserts into the knee here, into the kneecap. We want to make sure that that's super strong. We want to make sure that the glutes are super strong, and we want to make sure that the hamstrings are super strong. So we're going to start with the side step up. Use those 7.5 kilo dumbbells, please. For most people, starting on about 3 to 5 kilos would be ideal. For Rad, 7.5 to 10 is probably his starting point, and he'd go right up to 15, 20 kilos. You can even load these up with a barbell. Now, the VMO, to target the VMO here, the key points to think about are that we want to dorsiflex the ankle here so he can't plantarflex and use his calf to push off at the bottom, okay? We want to make sure that the hips are nice and level and that we're not leaning forward. If we lean forward, if you demonstrate that, now all of a sudden we're using the glutes and the hamstrings to do the work. We want to try and isolate that VMO. We want to try and smash the calf and strengthen that sucker on its own. Sorry, the quad. Now, the quad muscles here respond best to very high repetitions. So Rad's going to be doing, an ideal set would be over 20 reps, 20 to 30 reps. Okay? In our program, we periodize it and we start with 30, then do 25, then 20, slightly increasing the difficulty of the movement each time. Yeah, the foot and knee, the foot here, the toe just turns out slightly to about 15 degrees, 12 to 15 degrees, and the knee needs to track over the space in your big and middle toes. You don't want the knee buckling in. If your knee is buckling in or your hips can't remain level, you need to lower the step down or lighten the weight or a combination of both. Okay, let's jump onto a split squat with front foot elevated, please. And I've got the other step backed out here. This is like the gold standard lower body unilateral exercise because it's going to work both mobility in all of the areas that are required for a squat, but it also strengthens the body. Run. It's dead? Yeah. Totally? Okay, quickly swap it over with another one. Guys, we've just lost the phone, so we're going to quickly swap it over with one of the other ones and we'll have another camera out here.
Died at like 75% battery.
Yeah, right. Okay, we're back. Richie's coming out. Just switch it over to that camera. Sorry for the tech issues, guys. We're making the most of what we've got here. Is it on? Yep. Okay, so now we're going to do a split squat. There's a very big misconception that the knee should never travel over the toes. It's total bullshit. Anyone who's taught you that has very little understanding of human anatomy and the human body. If I was to demonstrate taking a flight of stairs, there is no way that my knee can't travel over my big toe. So the concept of not strengthening that is just ludicrous. It's completely ridiculous. So what Rad's going to do here, I'm actually going to cue him to push his knee forward as far as it can go into full flexion in the knee. What I'm looking for is contact between the calf and the hamstring back here. I'm looking for posture, and I'm looking for a nice hip stretch through the back leg. So while he's doing this, it's creating a mobility drill for the knee and the hip, but it's also creating a massive strength exercise for the quads, the glutes, the core, because he's stabilizing on one leg, and the calves. There's still a couple of reps there. Of course, you would load this up with dumbbells, but not at the expense of good range of motion and form. These are fantastic to add a pause at the bottom so that you really confirm that mobility. Beautiful. And then, of course, he would repeat on the other side after about a 15-second rest. the optimal or ideal rep range here varies based on your training age, but usually between 7 and 12 reps. Anything over about 12 reps will be seriously hard, and you're probably not lifting heavy enough weight. For those of you who've been training for quite a while, 7 reps would be ideal. Okay, the last one we're going to demonstrate here is for the hamstrings. The gold standard hamstring exercise is variations of the Nordic hamstring curl or razor curl. Now the first one we're going to demonstrate you haven't done yet, but I want to show this anyway, which is with a fit ball, and you basically walk the ball out with your hands and come all the way out into like a plank position, like an ab rollout, okay? So nice and easy, he's loading up his hamstrings here, going all the way out, beautiful, and then walking back up again. Now we've got our whole gym, every bay for the squat racks is set up for Nordics because this is so much more effective for hamstring strength than an isolated hamstring curl machine like you see in most modern gyms. The isolated hamstring curl is okay for rehabilitation, but the moment you go beyond rehabilitation, exercises like the Nordic hammy curl, the Fitball hamstring curl, Romanian deadlifts, back extensions, good mornings and reverse hypers are far more effective because you want to train the glutes and the hamstrings together, not in isolation. So this is loading up the calf, it's loading up the hamstring, and it's loading up the glutes, and it's also loading up his core. Let's go out again for a couple more reps to demonstrate. Very nice, all the way down and back up again using the Fitball. Now the other variation of an assisted Nordic hammy curl he can use is with the band that we've got rigged up at the back here. So I'll remove the ball, he'll do exactly the same thing, but now he's using the resistance of the band to go in and out. You can vary the intensity of this exercise with the positioning of your hips. If he keeps his hips forward, it's much harder. If he keeps his hips back, it's much easier. And it changes up the dynamic of the exercise a little bit. Very, very good. And then the final and the gold, like what everyone should be sort of aiming for is what we call a razor curl, where if you, go in like that, start with your bum all the way back, and then go all the way forward whilst staying down. So now he's just going to extend all the way out, hump the floor, and then drive back in. Beautiful. And that is super hard for the hamstrings, something that you've got to work up to build the strength development, but very, very effective at developing strength. Now, we'll show you one regression that we really like using for absolute beginners before they hit the Nordic hamstring curl, which is just a Fitball hamstring. I'll just get Rad to lay down and demonstrate this. Beautiful, nice and out. And now you can obviously do variations of this by turning the toes outward. We're going to work the biceps femoris more. By turning the toes in to touch together, we're going to work the semimembranosus and tendinosus more. And obviously making it more difficult, we can go onto one foot, and we can also keep the hips up and just use the hamstrings with no hip movement at all to work the hamstrings more in isolation. All right, let's jump back into the studio. Thanks, Rad. Okay. That's it, guys. So we've got the 3 main areas of the body. We've shown you 3 of our favorite strength drills, 3 of our favorite mobility drills. The final thing I want to talk about is how we bring all this into a program, because periodization is super important. We obviously start with an easier variation of every exercise, higher rep range, lower intensity, and we slowly progress to higher intensity, lower reps as the progressions of each movement increase in difficulty. We do this over a periodized program, a macro cycle that's 48 weeks, and we split that into 2 macro cycles. And then within that, every 6 weeks is a mesocycle where the movements change. Within those mesocycles, we have microcycles with different loading variables and different micro goals: hypertrophy, max strength, speed and power. We have testing weeks and deload weeks. Now, right now, what have we got live?
So right now we have an absolutely amazing special for you guys. If you've been watching us for a while, you've probably been wondering what our programs are like. Our most popular stretching program by a long shot is the 18-minute stretching routine. It's a really amazing program, and it's been proven to be our most popular program. But what we're doing is the program's normally $99 on its own. We give an introductory offer for people that join our mailing list where they have 3 days to get it at a 50% discount rate, but a lot of people missed out on it, and they've been telling us that they've been waiting for us to put on special again, and that time is right now. What we're doing is we're giving the 18-minute stretching routine, the loaded mobility routine, they're both $99 each. We're giving phase 1 of the Foundation Movement System program, which is $49.
Which covers all of what you saw
Everything
out there.
that we've just, that's the strength program and mobility. So everything that we do, our whole 6-day-a-week program, amazing video tutorials. We're giving 4 weeks access to our Movement Mastermind Facebook group, which is where you can, that's basically where you get your coaching from us. You can ask questions whenever you want. You can post videos. It's amazing. And we're also giving away
intermittent fasting.
Yeah, our intermittent fasting program. We're giving away our program periodization model, and also where you'll learn all about the periodizing that we do that Yanni just spoke about. It's a $544 value bundle, and we're doing it for $49, and you've got until 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday in Pacific time. So Pacific Standard Time, LA time, 11:59. It's going to be done. It's less than 2 days left. So if you want to get this for $49, it is an amazing deal. We've never given this much value for such a cheap price.
Yeah.
So you
get
need
on it,
to
guys. Get on it.
If you're not on our mailing list, you're going to need to get on it, and you can do that just by clicking on the Start Here button, or actually
I've linked in this video description.
Yanni will put a link in for this special directly to go to this special.
Okay,
you
I
can do that.
Yep. All right,
so
cool.
we'll put that in here, and I hope you guys get it, because it is an amazing opportunity.
Awesome, guys. Until tomorrow, thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you got something out of that. We certainly enjoyed teaching it. See you soon.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.